Today we're going to learn how to read a ruler. The title of the lesson is called Imperial Rule because the rulers that we use in the United States is Imperial Rule, Imperial Measure. Now sometimes you might have heard it referred to as Standard or US Standard or something like that, but that's not correct. It is Imperial. And of course, me being a Star Wars fan, I have to name the lesson something like Imperial Rule just because it's fun. But anyway, Imperial measurements is what we're talking about today. Now, in the introduction of the lesson, it says if you can count to 16 and reduce fractions, you can do this. Now, we'll get to that, but first there's something I want to talk about. What you have here in front of you is 1 inch on a ruler. Now, let's look at an entire ruler right here, and you can see that, a standard ruler, right? A standard imperial ruler has 12 inches, and there's lots and lots and lots of lines here. Well, you don't need to know all of these. All you need to know is just one set, and then they duplicate the whole way across. So we're just worried about one set, and so we're going to put that away, and we're just going to focus on 1 inch. This, of course, would be 0, and this would be 1. Now, what we need to do is we're going to identify some of these lines to help you learn how to measure and read these rulers. The first line here is right in the middle. If this is 0 and this is 1 over here, this is right in the middle. You can guess that's 1/2. So that's the 1/2 line, and we will mark that as 1/2. Now, we're going to look from 1/2 to 0. We're going to cut that in half, and we're going to look halfway in between this space, and we're going to identify this one. This is called 1/4. This line 1/4. Now there's one here, and there's also one over here. Now we're going to cut that in half, and so we're going to identify this line. It's a little bit shorter, as you can see that. So half of 1/4, you might be catching on now, is 1/8. So 1/8 is right here. And then we're going to cut that in half one more time to identify these smaller lines, and that would be 1/16. So 1/16 of an inch. Of course, we're talking about 1 inch here. So 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and 1/16. All right, we'll get back to that later. Now, like I said before, if you can count to 16 and reduce a fraction, you can do this. Let's start out easy before we get all into that. And if your measure comes to right here, you'll say that's 1/2. If your measure comes to right here, you can say, oh, that's 1/4. If your measure comes to here, 1, 2, 3, 3/4. If your measure comes to here, it's 1. So that's the way the quarters work. 1, 2, 3, and then of course you have 1. We can move on to eighths. Eighths is next, which is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8/8 in 1 inch. Moving on, there's to the 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now you can see that there's 16 sixteenths, 8/8, 4/4, and 2 1/2 in an inch. So we'll start out easy, and we'll measure. Let's just say we didn't know this was 1/2, and we're going to count to 16 and sixteenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8. So So this is 8/16. Can you reduce that fraction? Yes, you can. You can reduce 8/16 to 1/2. Let me draw that here for you so you can see that. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to make my type a little bit bigger. So 8/16. Okay. That equals, it can be reduced to 1/2. So that's 1/2. Let me give you another example. We're going to look at this fourths mark right here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's 4/16. I'm going to hit return here. I'm going to key out 4/16 equals 1/4. And that's exactly what that is. I'll keep going here. Let me make sure my text box is big enough to encompass all this text. One, 2/16. So that's 2/16. Can that be reduced? Yes, it can. That you can reduce that to 1/8. And there it is. And one more time, we'll just go 1, and that's 1/16. Can that be reduced? No, it can't. 1/16 cannot be reduced, so it's 1/16. So that's just an example of how to count and reduce on some easy ones. Now let's go to some other ones. I'll just get rid of all this. Get my cursor here, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say you're measuring to right here, and that's 7/16. 7/16. It's not too big. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. Can that be reduced? No, it can't. So this measure is 7/16. Cannot be reduced. Let's come over here, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11/16. Can that be reduced? No, it can't. Let's go to this long line right here. You might remember what it is, you might not. But again, we can just count to 16. If we can count to 16ths and reduce, we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12/16. Return, key that in for you so you can see. 12/16. Can that be reduced? Yes, it can. That gets reduced to 3/4. And that's, of course, the 3/4 mark. What about this mark right here? If you remember what that is, if you don't, that's okay. Let's just start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14/16. Can that be reduced? Yes, it can. We can cut that in half, and that's 7/8. And that's what that measure is, 7/8. Now, as you're doing this, you'll soon learn that every time you get to the half, that's 8/16. And you'll learn that 1/2 is 8/16. So then if this is 8/16, and your measurement comes to here, you don't necessarily have to count the whole way. I'll stop that blinking cursor for you. Again, right here, if we're counting with 16ths, And you'll soon learn that 1/2 is 8/16 every time. One more is 9/16. So you won't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'll just learn that this is 8/16, and then this is just one more. So it's 9/16. The same way if you go backwards. You know this is 8/16, so that's one less, so that's 7/16, right? So you'll learn these pretty quick. You'll learn that 1/4 is 4/16. And then one in front of it is 5/16. And one in front of it or before it is 3/16. You'll get this pretty quick. This is 8/16, and if quarters go by 4, you'll pretty soon learn that this is 12/16. And then one more is 13/16, and one less is 11/16. So as you go, you will learn quick ways to identify these. Now, as I said before, a guaranteed rock solid way is to count starting from 0 the whole way up in 16ths and then divide. You can do that every time, and I guarantee you it will work. As you move forward and learn more about this and practice this more, you'll get to know 1/2 is 8/16, 1/4 is 4/16, 3/4 is 12/16, and then you can go from there. Now, once you've reviewed this video and you've practiced this a few times on your own, then it's time to play a game. The game is the ruler game. I think there's a link for it in the next page of this module. And once you get to this game, that you'll see that you can time yourself, and I suggest you start timing yourself, and you can take it to 16ths or take it to quarters or eighths. I suggest you start out with 16ths and start with the timer on. If that's a little bit too rough for you, go ahead and turn the timer off. As a matter of fact, I'll see if I can bring it up here. The ruler game. Let's see here. So here's the ruler game, and I will just show you how it works. Under the preferences, you can have the timer on or off. Let's start with it on. And since I taught you about 16ths, we'll keep the increment level to 16ths. And we'll hit start new game right now. As you can see, the timer is counting down, and it says click on 3/4. So 1, 2, 3. That's 3/4. Boom, I got one. Now it says 9/16. Oh, I remembered that this was 8/16, so one more is 9/16. I got 10 seconds to do this one. 2 and 9/16. So 2 and 8 9/16 right there. I got the third one. 3 and 3/8. See here, we'll start at 3, and that's 1/8, that's 2/8, and that's 3/8. Oh, I ran out of time. 7/8. I got to do this a little quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/8. Boom. 3 and 1/8. 3 and 1/8. Boom. Here. 3 and 7/8. Well, I know that's 8/8 the whole way to 4, so 3 and 7/8 would be 1/8 back. So there it is. 2 and 3/16. 2 and 1, 2, 3/16. 1/2 is pretty easy. 9/16. Let's just say I make a mistake, and there is 9/16, but my cursor is in the wrong spot, and I do that. Oh, that's wrong. 2 X's. 5/8. Timer's counting down. I know that's game is over. I ran out of time. So if you're having a good amount of success, I want you to continue to play this game till you get a score of 200. Once you get a score of 200, you should be able to prove to me that you're learning this. If you're just having too many problems, go ahead and turn the timer off. You can turn the timer off and I'll start a new game. It says 2 and 11/16. So I know that's 8/16, 9, 10, 11/16. So you can see that the timer is not counting down, gives you all the time that you need. So if you need to do it this way, you go right ahead. You're still learning, you're still practicing, it's still a good game. So have fun with that, and once you get to the score of 200, you should be ready to take the assessment.